Hi guys, I hope you are feeling awesome. Today I would like to talk a little about how to get started on your spiritual path. And this idea really comes from one of my students who has watched some of my videos. And he said that some of the content was harder to understand because he is just starting out on his spiritual journey. And also he grew up with a perspective that was quite different to that. And I think a lot of people might resonate with this. So today I would like to shed a little bit of light on those differences of perspective, as well as give some easy tips and tricks on how to get started on your spiritual journey. If you like the content of these videos, don't forget to share them with anyone you think could benefit. These videos are meant to raise us up and to help us rediscover our spiritual nature and our incredible potential for love, peace, and happiness. So don't forget to share them around, to press like, and to subscribe to my channel so you can receive invitations for other videos like this. From a spiritual point of view, we are not merely a body, but we are a soul, or eternal being. At our core, we are love, happiness, and peace. And essentially, we are all one. From a more material point of view, we are bound to this body and we only have this one life. Each of us is separate and we are all fighting out our individual battles on this earth. We can feel happy and peaceful sometimes, but it is not our natural state, because it does depend on our emotional and mental state and our physical well-being. In my videos, I talk a lot about the state of society and how, due to spiritual deprivation, it is governed by money, greed, and corruption. It doesn't really care about the well-being of people, but rather uses them as tools in order to make more profit and to gain more power. From a more material point of view, the way we structure society today might be all you are used to, as well as the kind of reality it portrays. And so questioning some of its underlying values might be new and even unsettling. Let's say you are attracted to the practice of yoga and meditation and curious about its meaning and repercussions beyond the mat. Or you just want to take your spiritual path more seriously. Well, you are on the right track by watching these videos, by going to yoga classes that have a spiritual component, by practicing meditation. But your spiritual journey has begun way before that. From the day you were born, all of life is a spiritual path that invites us to dive deeper and deeper into the truth of who we really are. It has brought you here. Let's say for many years, 30, 40, 50, even more, you weren't interested in spirituality. And all of a sudden you find yourself in a yoga class and you feel really well after it. At first, it is perhaps because it feels good to stretch out the body, to gain more strength, to feel more healthy. But Mark, my yoga student, has described it in a way that he finds himself smiling for the rest of the day. So there must be more to it than just the physical health. Perhaps after your practice, you can't find that problem anymore that you were obsessing about before. You feel less anxious. And you can see more clearly the solution to a problem you were fretting about before. You feel less confused and more calm. Overall, perhaps you feel more content and you don't really know why. Nothing in your life has changed as such. Yes, some of that can be explained on a physical level, as the body switches from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the healing mode of the body. Everything slows down, the heart rate, the breath, the thought flow, and we enjoy a moment of rest and digestion. But it is more than that. In its origins, yoga was meant to lead us to a state of samadhi or bliss. Some might have heard the term enlightenment or spiritual awakening. So in its essence, it is a spiritual practice, and the asana, the physical practice, was only meant to help us keep the body limber and healthy, so it is not too much of a disturbance on this path. So what is that state of samadhi or bliss? Basically, you find that you already are all that you are yearning for. And that doesn't mean that you are going to have a big mansion with lots of servants, a private jet plane, or become famous, although it can, because anything is possible. But what it really means is that you attain a state that is beyond desire, because you find that you are so complete that you do not need to add anything to that. You find a state of joy that is beyond all that what we are used to, because it is not linked to any condition or anything great happening, but it is your natural state. You find that you are eternal and that you cannot die. Here are some tips on how you can progress on your spiritual journey. After class, take the time to really absorb and digest its benefits. So that means perhaps that you can have your lunch by yourself instead of with other people. Stay away from digital devices, messages, and emails to really make that time to absorb the benefits of your practice. Also, become more conscious of them. A lot of times people feel great after the class, but an hour later all is forgotten and buried under an avalanche of emails or other demands of life. This is where a lot of inconsistency of practice comes from. We are too quick to jump back into a stressful state of mind. We don't take the time to really note, this feels good. This is good for me. I need to make time for it. In this moment of post-practice contemplation, notice exactly what is going on in your body, in your mind. How exactly do you feel different? Perhaps you feel more calm and you worry less. Why? Don't make it a mental game. This is exactly what we are trying to get away from. Sometimes it is better to only ask the question and let it do its work. The answer is revealed often at a later stage in a much more wholesome way in your life. This is what is meant by absorbing the practice. Notice with curiosity what feels different and what is happening, but don't make a theory about it. Let wisdom arise naturally. The mind is helpful, but it is used to construct all sorts of things, and very often the very source of suffering and trouble. We have much deeper resources of knowing that precede the mind, and a way to access that is by asking the question without giving an immediate answer and see what happens. You can take meditative walks during the weekend by yourself, turning your awareness from the outside to the inside. And you can employ some of the tools you have learned in class, deepening your breath, finding stillness. You can sit on a bench and observe nature around you. The mind usually always jumps into the past or the future, which is the reason for a lot of distress and anxiety. In this way, you can show your appreciation for the present moment by giving it its full attention, simply observing the nature around you with nothing to remember or to plan into the future. If your mind is very active, you can employ a mantra, the repetition of a spiritual name or truth, which will also change the vibration in your body. And we will do this together at the end of this video. You can read books on yoga or spirituality to find out more about this subject. And I'm reluctant to be very specific on this because we are all so different. Whenever I tried to share a book that was really revealing to me with someone else, it might not have necessarily clicked with that other person, and the same way the other way around. And this is why we have so many different books and scriptures. Just search the internet for that aspect of spirituality that you are interested in, and that will be your personal entry ticket into deepening your spiritual journey. Usually, I'm not so fond of reading books, as I always say spirituality is an experience that you must discover in your heart rather than understand it with your mind. But in the beginning, if we are so used to access things through the mind, we might as well make use of that and add that to the actual experience during yoga, meditation, breathing and prayer. A mantra is the sustained repetition of spiritual truth. From times immemorial, the sonic powers of mantras have been an important part of the well-being of all of creation. The mantra has its origins in the primordial sound Om, which is the sound of creation. When put into practice, a mantra helps us to remove all the obstacles on our spiritual path. It liberates us from suffering and it raises us in wisdom. A lot of mantras are sang or recited in Sanskrit, which is one of the oldest languages in the world, and also the language that a lot of Indian spiritual scriptures are written in. Today we will practice the mantra Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, which invokes the Hindu deity Ganesha, who is the remover of all obstacles. What can be more befitting on deepening our spiritual path? Literally, it is translated as we call on Ganesha, the remover of all obstacles. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. I hope you enjoyed my video. Don't forget to share, to press like and to subscribe to my channel so you can receive notifications for other videos like this. May your day continue to be blessed and full of joy. Namaste.